What's going on, everyone? Today we're taking a look at another e-bike. This is the VANPOWERS City Vanture Road e-bike. Looking at the specs, this e-bike has a 350 watt motor, a 36 volt 7 amp hour battery, Tektro hydraulic brakes, 700C by 28C Kenda tires, and weighs only 34.17 pounds, which makes this the lightest full-size e-bike I have reviewed so far. So as far as unboxing goes, this one came double boxed, which is always a nice thing to see. Because of this, the bike was in perfect condition with no damage on the bike. As stated earlier, this is the lightest e-bike I have reviewed so far, which made it very easy to remove from the box. Some of these bikes are 80 pounds or more, and with those I have no choice but to slice the box open like a clamshell, but with this one the process was very simple. Inside the box you have the bike itself as well as the accessory box. In this box you get full-size tools, which is something I love to see and prefer to get. The portable tools are cool to make adjustments on the go, but as far as assembly goes, they aren't the easiest to use, and the process is much easier when you have full-size tools like this. Besides this, you also get the manual, reflectors, more tools, and the charger. Assembly was pretty straightforward and similar to most other e-bikes. Simply attached the front wheel, the handlebars, and the seat, and that was it. I did this on my own, so it took me probably about 30 to 40 minutes, including making any adjustments. Alright, so looking at the bike itself, this is a very unique and nice color. It's their neon purple and it has a nice chrome finish to it. Overall, this bike reminds me of the 80s, and I feel like one of those women from the workout tapes with leg warmers would fit perfectly riding one of these bikes. Not quite my style, but my wife definitely loves it. Beside this one, they do have a few other colors, which I'll throw up on the screen now. A very interesting thing about this bike is the frame design. Instead of having a full one-piece frame like most e-bikes, they use what's called a tenon and mortise frame design. At first, this sounded a bit odd to me, but apparently a ton of research and testing was done to make sure this was just as good and safe as a traditional frame. Also, I'm sure they don't want to have a bunch of lawsuits if something did go wrong, so I'll take their word that this is a solid design. Since the bike is made of different pieces, I would love for them to come out with a modular bike to where you could just remove a piece here and add a rear suspension, change the bars here and make it into a step-through bike, and so on. The modular Lego-like system is already there, so I really hope this is something they have planned for future similar bikes. Coming around front, this has some of the nicest and most minimal wiring that I've seen on an e-bike so far. There's literally only one wire that comes off the front of the bars, and then another two that run back. Unlike most bikes, the screen is integrated into the bars, so that eliminates any wiring you usually see there as well. This is also a single speed bike, so there's no shifter, which is another wire eliminated. The screen itself is also one of the better ones I've seen. It's a full color display that has both good resolution and good brightness. It is smaller than most other screens, but everything is organized in a way where you can easily see everything you need to see on here. Up top you have your speed, at the bottom you have your pedal assist information, in the middle you have your trip information, and then lastly you have this nice large battery meter at the side. A very cool feature about this bike is it does not have a chain, but instead uses a Gates belt drive system. This is going to give you a quiet and much smoother ride. These belts are also maintenance free and are rated to last 19,000 miles before it needs to be replaced. Taking a look at the seat, with this bike you get a more narrow road bike seat, but it also feels like it should be plenty plush and comfortable still, so we'll try that out when I take it for a ride and see how it is. This bike does not have any front or rear lights, which is a bit of a letdown. Back in 2019, this was pretty normal, but now most e-bikes do include built-in lights. Most built-in headlights aren't very good anyway, so that's not too bad, but at least having a built-in tail light would have been great. Alright, well, let's take this bike out for a ride and see how it performs. Alright, so right now I have pedal assist off, and this is by far the easiest e-bike to pedal so far. Even carrying this bike was extremely light. Usually I have to take the e-bikes down my stairs when I take them inside to put air or work on them at all. And this one I could easily carry it with just one hand. Yeah, so right now I still have pedal assist off and very easy. You almost forget that you're even on an e-bike because this pedals like normal.
This is a road bike, so you are sat in a very lean forward, aggressive position. So if you're someone that likes to relax and sit back, this won't be the bike for you. But if you're familiar with road bikes and that's what you're after, this will be the perfect bike. This belt drive is so smooth. You almost don't even feel like you're on a regular bike. It feels like you're on some kind of workout machine because it just pedals so smoothly. You don't have those little miniature clicks on every rotation. It just feels almost like artificial in a sense. And it's very quiet. Like right now I'm pedaling, and since I'm not going fast, you don't hear any road noise either. You don't hear anything at all. It's just silent. All right, so I went ahead and switched on pedal assist, and on number 1, I'm getting about 8 miles per hour. Compared to regular pedaling without it, I think I was going kind of about the same speed. So I think pedal assist 1 more or less helps you get started and then puts you at a regular casual riding speed. And before we get into pedal assist 2, this is definitely a very comfortable seat. It's more of a road style seat like I said earlier, but it has just enough padding where it doesn't feel uncomfortable. This is the first time I've rode a road bike in a very long time, and this is definitely a lot more comfortable than I imagined it would be. All right, let's go ahead and switch it up to pedal assist 2. One thing that's very cool is they don't just call them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every speed actually has a different color, so you can easily recognize which speed you are at a quick glance, but they also have their own names as well. So back on 1, that was Eco. And now on number 2, we're on normal. And this is picking up speed a little better. Looks like we're averaging about 10.5 miles per hour. It's a nice casual riding speed. I think this is like the speed most people will be riding at for regular everyday commutes. All right, switch up number 3. This is the yellow mode, and it's called Tour. And this pedal assist, it's so smooth and gradual. Like some of these bikes, when you click it, right away you feel that surge of power. And this one, it just smoothly picks up speed. Another thing I just noticed is this motor has very little noise. I mean, I'm only going 11 miles per hour right now, but I don't hear the motor at all. And most e-bikes, even when you're going slow, you'll hear that motor winding up. But this is just very quiet. Like, to anybody looking at me right now, I mean, besides this weird funky look it has, you would never be able to tell this was an e-bike. All right, now we're on number 4, which is what they call power mode. And it looks like it's averaging about 15 miles per hour, 15.5. Still, I don't hear the motor at all. I don't know what kind of motor they use in this bike, but this is the most quiet motor I've ever heard in any bike. I guess I got so used to e-bikes all pretty much sounding like e-bikes, and this one sounds nothing like an e-bike. I can't even tell to have pedal assist on. It's just pushing me quickly, but no noise. Really odd. So number 4, it looks like it averages about 15.5. So let's go ahead and put it to number 5, which is their boost mode, which puts you in that red kind of critical color. I'm assuming this is probably gonna go about 18. Got some winds right now, slowing this down. All right, so with casual pedaling, it looks like about 17.5. Let me see if I push it, what we can get. All right, so if you aggressively pedal, you can get it up to about 20.5, which honestly is more than good enough for 90% of people that ride e-bikes. I know there's a small percentage like myself that like to go as fast as they can, whenever they can. So right now, if I get a empty road ahead, I would usually blaze it, go about 25, 30, just because no one's around and I can. But most people don't really ride more than 15 to 18 miles per hour. I'll say that's like the normal fast speed for most people. And then with casual riding, people probably go about 14 to 16. Like my wife has an e-bike that goes 28 top speed, but she really doesn't like going anywhere above 16 miles per hour. She says it feels too fast and it's not very comfortable for her. So whenever I ride with her, we always take a shorter, slower ride. When I ride it alone, I usually go about the same speed, like 15, 16, but whenever I see an empty road like this or a clear way on the bike path, that's when I usually just click it up to pedal assist number 5 and do a quick speed burst, and then I'll slow it back down. All right, let's try out these brakes. Very, very good. Great stopping power and surprisingly very little noise as well. A lot of these bikes, when you first get them, you need to break in the brake pads. And even though this is my first time riding this bike, when I do an aggressive stop, there's very little noise. You only hear the brake pad rubbing against the rotor, but there's no like screeching, grinding noise like some of these e-bikes would sound when you first get them. Yeah, so I gotta say, this is definitely a very refined e-bike. From the very quiet motor to the maintenance-free, no noise belt system, the brakes working well, the very unique e-bike screen that looks modern and not like anything I've seen on other e-bikes as well. This is definitely a very good bike. I didn't think I would like it because I'm not really a fan of road bikes, but now that I'm riding this is so comfortable and effort-free to ride. As far as range goes, on their website it says this bike should get anywhere from 50 to 80 miles with the extra battery, which is very cool. It's kind of like a little water bottle, it looks like, but it straps down here. Looks like a regular water bottle, but it's actually a disguised battery. Yeah, they don't say what the range is without that extra battery, which is kind of strange. This is a 7.5 amp hour battery, but since it's only a 36 volt bike, I'm going to assume you're going to get anywhere from 20 to 28 miles if you're riding casual speeds. And then if you're going top speed the entire time, chop that in half, you probably get about 10 to 15 miles. Going into this bike and getting onto it, I wasn't sure how much I was going to like it, but I gotta say, I ended up loving this bike a whole lot more than I thought I would. So if you're looking for an e-bike, even if you aren't into road bikes, if you can, try to find one of these somewhere you can go on a test ride on, because this is definitely a great e-bike. All right, well, I think that about wraps up this video. As usual, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to drop me a comment and let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.